Hey guys, welcome to today's Vehicle Visionary. Today my friends at Holmes Honda here in Shreveport, Louisiana have loaned me this 2021 Honda HRV Sport. This is Honda's smallest SUV in their lineup. Of course, it is a subcompact crossover. And if you're looking for a very sporty, nimble, easy to get around SUV that gets great gas mileage, has features such as electronic stability and brake assist for under $23,000. And you will have all of the great features such as the infotainment system and all that good stuff. And we'll take a look at that throughout our interior and exterior tour here of the HRV. But if you're looking for something in a really reasonable price point, this would be a great vehicle for a college student or even a high school student learning to drive, somebody who maybe just wants to save some money on gas. They have a lot of commuting to do and all that kind of stuff. This HRV is something that you should most certainly consider. As you can see, the hood looks very sporty. I like the fact that it has the character that it does, the lines that it has ultimately right here. It's not just flat, not only across, but when it comes down and slopes towards the front end, that's not only going to give it a nice sporty look, but also improve the aerodynamics of the vehicle, and that's one place where you're going to do very well on gas mileage. Of course, the black rims are going to add to that sportiness, and as you look down the side of the body, it's probably a little bit harder to see being that it's black and just kind of the shade that we're sitting in here. I don't want to blind you with the sun, but you do have some nice body lines right here as well. Let's take a look here at what you can find in the back seat. I know I gave you a little bit of a look at that earlier, but we're going to actually hop inside. In fact, let me show you how to maximize your cargo space while we're at it. You can fold down the 60-40 split rear seats here and maximize your cargo space, so there is a reasonable amount here. And of course, you've got the map pocket on the back of the passenger seat. You've got a cup holder right here, and even though I don't think you're going to be able to see it, you do have a 12-volt power outlet, so you can buy the adapter to make up the difference for not having USB ports right there, but that is doable, not a big deal. You do have integration for Apple CarPlay and Android Auto with this model. Of course, as you can see, you've got some door bins right here, not super large, but enough to put a fairly large bottle right there, and that basically takes care of the back seat for us. We'll work our way around to the front. Of course, one thing I didn't mention, of course, you've got your shark fin or your antenna up there. And again, the roof line just adds to the sporty look. You've got the roof spoiler right here that kind of works its way down, and it just overall gives it a nice sporty look. Really be a good vehicle for someone to take to college if they're wanting to save money getting around to and from school or to and from work and all that good stuff. So this is definitely a vehicle that would fill the bill in that respect. Of course, here are your air conditioning vents right here, kind of a unique look in that respect. You've got your glove box, pretty plentiful on space right there. And you do have space here in front of the console, some storage right there. And as you can see, you've got another 12-volt and 2 USB ports right here. So quite a few nice features. Let's take a look at what is in the front. And before we hop into the driver's seat, I did want to point out one more thing that gives this little model, the HRV, just that sporty look and feel, the aluminum sport pedals. As we hop inside, of course, you do have your button here for econ mode if you wish to use that. And of course, when you push the button right there, you're going to see right here on the dashboard, you'll know that it's on. There is the indicator. Of course, very simple dashboard, pretty simple and easy to use, yet you do have everything you need right there. Steering wheel mounted controls, of course. You got cruise control right here. And the infotainment screen here in the middle, and I know it's probably gonna be a little hard to see just because of the sun, but if you want to, this button here in the top left-hand corner right here, that allows you to dim or brighten the screen if you want to. And everything really simple here, but yet nice technology. You can see everything that you have there. Of course, you can go back. I don't think there's anything on this other screen, which there is not. And of course, your air conditioning controls here. It's not dual zone climate control, but again, with an interior this small, not something you necessarily need. And your shifter, you've got brake hold right here if you wish to use brake hold mode, which if you're not familiar with that, all that is, you come to a complete stop and you're maybe in stop and go traffic and going to be there for a while. You don't have to keep putting the transmission in and out of drive. You push that button down, brake hold mode comes on. It's going to keep the brakes engaged when you come to a complete stop until you push the gas pedal or the brake pedal again. Of course, your electronic parking brake right there. And one thing I do like here, as simple as it is, you can move the top of the console, the lid basically, back and forth if you want to like that. Use that as an armrest. And of course, there's your space in there. Not necessarily a lot of space, but not necessarily a bad thing. Cup holders, but ultimately a very nice system here, very easy to navigate, just a nice look overall. And again, for the price point where this vehicle falls, you're actually getting quite a bit in this day and age. Okay guys, we're going to start our test drive here with our HRV. One of the greatest advantages to a subcompact SUV, not only the maneuverability and how easy it is to get around in maybe tight parking spaces and situations like that, but also just driving down the road. And while a lot of subcompact SUVs have a rigid ride to them, I've found that this HRV is one of the better riding subcompacts that I think I've actually driven in quite a long time. Even though, yeah, you're going to notice some bumps and you're going to feel some things that you drive down the road that you would feel in any vehicle no matter what its size is. It's really not too bad. It takes the bumps quite well. And of course, like I said, the handling is very, very good. As you drive through corners, you won't have to slow down. The size of the vehicle helps immensely with that because it's low to the ground. It has a short wheelbase meaning the measurement from the center of the front tire to the center of the rear tire, basically the center of the rear to the front, whichever you want to do. But that is your overall wheelbase, which really has a lot to do with how a vehicle is going to handle. So a shorter wheelbase in this HRV, plus its lower center of gravity, that's going to equal a very enjoyable drive and ride. So as you cruise around, you're going to find that it's actually quite fun to drive. Kind of an interesting thing you probably wouldn't consider much in kind of a bare bones subcompact SUV, but it's definitely what you get with this particular model. And you do have a leather wrapped steering wheel. The steering wheel is comfortable. I like the fact that you don't have any real intrusions here where you're going to place your hands as the driver. So that helps to be more comfortable. So let's get out here on the road. We're just going to accelerate a little bit. You're going to hear that continuously variable speed transmission doing its thing. And there we're at the speed limit right there. I don't have a draggy or anything to measure the 0 to 60. It'd be kind of curious. I'd be curious to see how close we could get to what the numbers are supposed to be by the manufacturer. But again, not a high performance vehicle, so not necessarily trying to see what it will do. But when it comes to accelerating, now that I'm already at speed, I'm just going to ease into the gas pedal a little bit. I'm about, halfway down. As you can see, I hope you can see on the dashboard, it's climbing with no problem at all. I don't think we'd be able to get anywhere near that 140 if I wanted to, which I'm not going to try that. But just out of curiosity to see how well the HRV accelerates, if you need to get around slower moving traffic, yeah, you're probably going to need a little bit of extra space to do that than you might need with other vehicles, but it's going to do the job for you. The good news about all of this, as far as the fact that you don't have tons of horsepower, is that you're going to get that great gas mileage that I talked about earlier, and you have the great handling characteristics. And honestly, if I was in the situation where this was a vehicle that would suit my needs as a daily driver, I would have absolutely no problem just saying, man, I'm just bored, or maybe having a tough day and just need a break, and just taking this little HRV out and enjoying a drive kind of out in the country, kind of like we're doing right here with it today. It's actually quite fun to drive. And I like the handling characteristics overall with this vehicle, because it's just, with the short wheelbase and everything being as it is, it gets down the road with absolutely no problem. So we're going to cruise on down the road here. This is my regular test drive route. And the good thing about it, when it comes to just overall drivability is that you're really not going to have to worry about braking when you go into the corners with this. And I know everyone drives differently, but I just like the fact the speed limit on this road is 55 miles an hour. I'm just going to kind of stay around that. We're just going to cruise up the road here just a little bit, just to give some opportunity to see how this HRV really handles. Now, this isn't the sharpest corner, a little bit of body roll right there, not too terribly bad. I'm not going all that terribly fast, but as far as just what you can expect, everything is nice and easy to control. And one thing I think about with the HRV is the fact that if you live in a large city, and I know the difference between smaller cities, kind of like Shreveport, Louisiana, here where I live, and larger cities is that with a lot more people around, more vehicles to park and all that kind of stuff, the space across from one set of parking spaces to another is often less than what we have here. So having a larger vehicle can be a bit of a challenge in those situations. That will not be your issue here. Now that I've gotten somewhat used to the handling characteristics of the front-wheel drive HRV, that was a very enjoyable experience in cruising through that corner at a little over 60 miles an hour. I did not take my foot off the gas pedal. I just drove through and just gave it a little bit of steering input, and it had absolutely no problem whatsoever. Handling is nice. The ride quality is nice. Visibility is good. You can see right here on the video, even though it's a smaller vehicle, the windshield is still nice and large. So the visibility range is not a problem. And one thing I like about any SUV, you've got a little bit of a slope to the windshield here, but it's not so drastic as it would be in a high-performance sports car that when it rains, the difference between those two, here's what it is. With the dramatic, more laid-back windshield, with a more dramatic angle, I should say, the water's going to run straight down. On one like this, it's going to kind of tend to run off to the side a little bit more, so visibility is going to be improved. I like the fact that you have all of those options here. So a lot of versatility, and while it may not be a vehicle with the most horsepower, it may not have the largest amount of cargo space, this is really kind of the perfect vehicle for maybe a college student or even a high school student to get around in. Not an overload of power, so getting in trouble with too much horsepower not going to be an issue, as it might be with a Challenger Hellcat, which that's not a Hellcat that just passed us. But as we cruise down the road here, I'm just accelerating uphill right here, having no problems at all. I must say, pretty high marks here for the HRV. A nice vehicle. It's definitely going to meet the needs of anybody who buys it, because obviously you're not going to need a large vehicle. If you're looking for something that's going to be economically sound, not only on your finances, but also just in how it gets around, how it's maneuverable, that's what this is. It's a great vehicle. Honda has definitely done a great job in how they have engineered this HRV. So I'd like to thank my friends at Holmes Honda for loaning me this model for the day, and all of you for taking the time to watch. Make sure to tell me what you want to see me feature here on the Vehicle Visionary YouTube channel, guys, and if I can get my hands on it, I'm definitely going to feature it for you. I appreciate your time, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Have a great day.